Alright, I decided to go ahead and do these bus bars. It's still summertime, or just before summertime, but it's hot out. It's one of the cooler days of the year, but in order to have AC, I went ahead and ran an extension cord to shore power through my little shore power plug here. Right there. And of course it runs to the house. This way I can work on these in at least some comfort. I'm using my Gulu here for a flashlight, just for extra light. I turned off my solar inputs and turned off the batteries to those. I probably didn't need to do that, but I'm going to unplug all my batteries since they all have these Anderson connectors. So I can disconnect everything from the main system. I don't have to worry about shorting anything out while I'm working on it. But basically I'm going to be taking this shunt here, and I'm going to be putting one of these bus bars and replacing that there. So all those wires go to that bus bar. That is going to go down here in between the negative and the batteries. And I believe I decided to pretty much make this input from charging will go down to one end of that, and then another wire is going to go up there to that one, and that's going to be output power. I'll probably just take these two wires here off, and I'll probably make another one of, let's see, these, where I have one lug here and three wires. These are three 6-gauge silicone wires. There we go. See, they're good for 200 degrees Celsius. I have to really look up how many amps those are supposed to be good for each with silicone wire, but they should be around 100 amps or more. You know, the 4-gauge, from what I can see online, is rated for at least 175 amps. And that's what I have over here. I think these are 6-gauge here. Yeah, these are 6-gauge. And these wires do not get hot, whereas these wires do. These are rated for 105 degrees, and these are 2-aught battery cables. These wires here do not get hot to the touch at all, even when that's pulling max load. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And those 3 wires coming this way and 3 going that way, that should allow plenty of charge in and plenty of power out. So that is how I'm going to do it. Alright, well, I'm going to get started. Alright. Basically, these are the 3 wrench sizes. Oh, maybe 4. I got 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, and a 1/2 inch. This is 9/16. Okay, 9/16 fits perfectly on the 3/8 bolt. Okay, that's what 11/16 is good for this. Need 11/16 for the nuts on that. So basically, for this, I need 1/2 inch for the 5/16 bolts, and need 9/16 for the 3/8 one. Mostly it would be 1/2 inch. I need 11/16 for the shunt. For this shunt here, for the battery capacity meter thing, so I can keep track of the amp hours and all that. So that's 11/16 on those. I don't know if this thing tells you what amp loads it's good for, but this should be good for 300 amps, I believe. Nope, alright there, okay. 500 amps. So that's what this one's for, which would be more than enough for any load I have coming out here, because they don't go over 300 amps ever. So that should be plenty enough for the battery going in and out of that. Alrighty, so I got those down. I got my socket set ready, so I have all the pieces I need, and I got these. They're 1/4 inch screws. I had to put washers on them. Most of them come with washers already, but the ones that didn't have any, I had to put a washer on so they can go in the feet of these, because without the washer, the screw is not big enough to stay on top of this. With the washer, it'll be perfect. So that is one done. As you can see, I have all 4 wires hooked up here. It is about 9:30 the next morning. My batteries are still at 13 volts. Right here, you see it's running 12 to 14 amps right now. So 13 volts total battery bank. It says I have 329 amp hours left to go. Of course, it's going to get hotter today, so I'm sure the AC will kick on higher. But right now the AC is still set to 70. It is $71 in here right now. Alright, I got it wired in. Here's the first one I did earlier. Solar charge coming in down to this. And I made 2 of these with 3 wires each. One going to this side, one going to this side. They're connected right here. And then I made this. It's my other bus bar. I got 4 wires coming off of it on that side, and 4 wires coming off going to this side. And I got all 5 batteries in line from this side to this side. Go from there over that way, in line on there. These wires, I'm pretty sure are PVC coated, and I think they're 8-gauge wires, so I doubled them up. They fit into a size 10 connector together pretty tightly. And all these are 6-gauge, which means those should be 6-gauge together, and these are all 6-gauge by themselves. The same size as the wires going into the batteries, except for maybe this one, which I think might be 4-gauge, but this is also one I made myself with battery wire. I can't see. Obviously, Windy Nation wire. Okay, there it is. That's 4-gauge wire there. All the rest of these should be 6-gauge. I might have made this one here with the same wire as I did these, because it looks the same, PVC coating. So that might actually be an 8-gauge wire going to this. I just can't see any writing at all on that. But now that is wired properly down on this end, so it's got solar coming in, power leaving. Right now that says I'm at 13.7 volts, but that says 13.4. So you can see that is, okay, it's charging at 25 amps right now. That's the highest I've ever seen that. So that's nice. That is coming off of that one there with the 360 watt panels on it, or the two 180 watt panels. So you're getting 35 volts at 2.7 amps, which converts to 13.4 at 6 amps. Well, it just drops. It was at 24.5 amps. So, alright, so my batteries are all charging. That took about 2 hours or so. But now I have all that connected. My AC is still running off of grid power or shore power. Alright. So I'm going to do just turn the inverter on. No horrible noises, nothing blowing up. All good to hear and see. Okay. And just to show, see if I can make it so you can see it. It's pulling 44 to 45 watts in amps out of the batteries that I am charging right at 10 amps, 9 to 10 amps. Right now I got about 5 to 10 amps on each battery coming out. Alright, the only thing left to do is let that run. I might actually just do this at 70 degrees. And I'm going to turn off my solar panels. Makes that super easy. So this thing should get calibrated to my battery setup now and actually tell me how much. Like right now it looks like it's using 46 amps, 672 amp hours supposedly remaining, but I'm not sure how accurate that is right now. The battery's down to 13.19, so I'm going to let this run down and figure out where these are going to be. So I am going to let this run today. I imagine by this evening the batteries should be all the way down. Should take roughly 6 hours, maybe 12, depending on how hot it gets. Probably checking this probably after dinner, which is about 6 hours away. Might be 5 hours at this point. So, this is much better overall setup. Now I have all the batteries should be evenly distributed there. Going up to those and doing what it needs to do there. So I did move my car DC to DC charger over here. So when I'm pulling the trailer, I can charge this by my car battery. It's a 20 amp energy one. And I still have the fuse block here connected to this side. Doesn't really matter. It's not long enough to reach that one, so I just left it there. The wires are a little bit better organized, and that thing should actually give me, an actual state of charge on my battery bank from now on. Battery's down to 12 volts. So it's going down to 11.9. According to this, we're at 11.6.5. AC still pulling around 200 watts, give or take. This, as you can see, is pulling up to 16, 17 amps right now. It says we have about 22 amp hours left. I'm guessing we'll have to give up one more hour before the inverter shuts off. And then we'll see where they're at. It is now about 6 p.m. the following day of starting this thing without charging any from the solar. All my solar's been off since yesterday. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon yesterday, so that's about 30 hours so far of running that AC at low load. As you can see, that says 1 bar. That's pretty low. That's showing at least half. That's showing 1 bar. But I'm gonna keep going until the batteries themselves try to shut off, or I can get this thing calibrated to my battery bank. I should have about 790 amp hours, I believe, total. So I will have to see what this is actually set for and go from there.